Welcome back. Today we're exploring one of the strangest manuscripts ever made, the Codex Gigas, also known as the Devil's Bible. This enormous book is so heavy it takes two people to lift it. It contains the Old and New Testaments, medical guides, magical spells, and a massive portrait of the devil. Legends say it was written in a single night with the help of Lucifer himself. Whether you believe the myth or the history, this manuscript is a masterpiece wrapped in mystery. Imagine a book almost a meter tall, half a meter wide, and weighing about 165 pounds. That's the Codex Gigas. Bound in wooden covers with leather and ornate metal, it looks less like a book and more like a door you could bolt onto a castle. Each of its 310 pages is made of vellum, prepared animal skin. Scholars estimate at least 160 donkeys were needed just for the parchment. And yet this isn't some random collection of scribbles. Inside you'll find the Latin Bible, the complete works of Josephus, medical texts from Hippocrates, calendars, penitential rules, and even incantations. It's essentially a medieval library packed into one volume. The book was likely created in the Benedictine monastery of Podlagis in Bohemia, around the early 1200s. Monks at the time were some of the few people who could read and write, and manuscripts were their life's work. Producing a single Bible could take years. The Codex Gigas was beyond ambitious. Why make something so large, so heavy, so complete? One theory is prestige. A monastery that possessed such a manuscript would have been famous across Europe. It would be a symbol of wealth, power, and devotion. Sadly, Podlagis Monastery was small and poor. Some historians think that's why the legend of a supernatural origin began, because no one believed such a tiny monastery could have produced such a monumental book on its own. Here's the story that made the Codex Gigas famous. According to legend, a monk at Podlagis broke his vows and was condemned to be walled up alive. Facing certain death, he begged for a chance to redeem himself. He promised to create a book that contained all human knowledge in one night. The abbot agreed. As midnight dragged on, the monk realized it was impossible. In desperation, he turned not to God, but to the devil. Lucifer appeared and struck a bargain. The monk's soul in exchange for the devil's help, finishing the manuscript. By dawn, the book was complete. To honor the pact, the monk included a giant illustration of Satan himself. It's a chilling story, and while historians dismiss it, it explains the book's nickname, the Devil's Bible. When scholars examine the manuscript, they notice something odd. The handwriting is remarkably consistent. Over hundreds of pages, there's no sign of fatigue, no shift in style, no difference in ink. This suggests the Codex Gigas may have been written by a single scribe, working steadily for decades. Experts estimate it could have taken 20 to 30 years of dedicated work. Think about that. One person spending half their life creating a book. Day after day, year after year, painstakingly copying scripture, medical advice, history, and spells. That kind of devotion almost feels supernatural in itself, though not in the diabolical sense. Then there's the most famous image, the devil's portrait. He's drawn full page, crouched between two towers with red horns, green skin, and sharp claws. His eyes bulge, and his tongue juts out in mockery. It's unsettling even today. On the opposite page is a depiction of the heavenly city. Many believe the pairing was intentional, a stark reminder of the choice between damnation and salvation. In a book so heavily Christian, it's shocking how much space is devoted to Satan. No wonder the legend stuck. The Codex Gigas didn't stay in Bohemia forever. Over the centuries, it passed between rulers and libraries. In the 17th century, during the 30 Years' War, Swedish troops seized it as war booty and carried it to Stockholm. It's remained in Sweden ever since, now housed in the National Library. In 1697, a fire broke out in the royal castle where it was kept. As people fled, someone reportedly threw the massive book out a window to save it. The Codex Gigas hit the ground with such force it cracked its binding, but the book survived. Imagine risking your life to toss a 165-pound manuscript out of a burning building. So why does the Codex Gigas still captivate us? Partly because of its scale. Humans love extremes, and this is the biggest medieval manuscript ever made, partly because of the devil's portrait. Even in a deeply religious age, that image was strange, and partly because of the myth. A single monk working with Lucifer is a story too good to forget. But beyond the legend, the book is a window into medieval thought. It blends sacred scripture, medical advice, magical formulas, and history. It shows us a world where faith, science, and superstition lived side by side in the same pages. The Codex Gigas, whether you call it the Devil's Bible, a monk's life's work, or a miracle of survival, remains one of history's most unique creations. It reminds us that human beings are capable of incredible dedication, and that mystery only makes knowledge more powerful. Thanks for listening. Until next time, remember, sometimes the strangest stories are written not in myth, but in ink and parchment.